Alright, so starting engine checklist. First engine, I'll show you the starters. All you have to do is just click the starter button, and that's it. It will go on and start. It's a very simple starting system in the citation. I was just checking what that end button was, but that seems to be okay. And there we go, that's engine number 2 on. Just settle down to about 49 to 50% N2. Which it is. Right, so let's get engine number 1 online. Alrighty, so that's the engines online and we can get rid of the ground power unit. And the generators are indeed on gen, so we're generating our own power from the engines. And let's do the before starting checklist. So when you switch the avionics on, which we already did because we needed to put the radios on, DC amps and volts, which is here. I'm assuming because it's positive, that's fine. And the volts are 28, which seems good enough to me. The anti-ice system will adjust when we get to the before takeoff checklist. Make sure the passenger safety lights are on. The anti-skid we need to switch on, which is just found here. Gyro pressure and battery temperatures. But the battery temperature's not in the yellow or the red, so that's fine. And gyro pressure, I'm assuming, is fine. It's not in the green, but that could be just because we're not moving. Pressurization we can set. I'll cheat and just press the B button. The elevator trim, we'll just bring back to takeoff. Speed brakes. Can we see out of the window? No, we'll just go outside, and as you can see the speed brakes are up. Passengers will be fine, belts and harnesses are all fastened, ATIS with clearance we've copied, and we're cleared for takeoff. We should have got engine start clearance. I'll just do that now. That was my bad. Avionics look all fine. We can just do a quick test, make sure everything's working. Which they are. We don't have an EFIS, so we can't check that. The inverters, I'm sure, are fine, and the autopilot, again, I'm sure that's fine. So taxiing, exterior lights as required. So let's have a look at what we've got available. So we don't need the landing lights. I'm not quite sure which one that is. Nav lights, anti-collision, we'll put on before takeoff. Recognition lights seem to be these ones that are doing strange things, but we can use them just as almost as taxi lights. But otherwise, let's get taxiing. We can test the brakes and steering as we're going, the flight instruments as well, and then we can test the thrust reversers as well. So we're going to have to taxi all the way to the other side of the airport. So because the plane's quite light, we can actually taxi with idle thrust, and it will keep on going. But we can test the brakes here. They're working absolutely fine. So make a left turn here. Oh, I've never actually noticed that, but the control tower is actually lit up when it's dawn or dark, which is quite cool, because it's normally, obviously, during the day it isn't lit up like that. So that's quite a nice little touch. But this is ORBX England. It's obviously not dedicated airport scenery, but ORBX England does generate or improve all the airport sceneries in the UK, or well, in England, unless you have all the other packages. So actually the positioning of all the buildings is very good, and the much more kind of realistic, like the helicopter school is actually just here, so that's kind of correctly orientated. And they've got this grass strip which isn't in the default scenery, and these buildings are just much more appropriate to what they are in real life. Right, we've got a bit of a stretch here, so I'll just test the thrust reversers. Yeah, and they're working fine, so we'll just stow them. Alright, so we're just adding up to runway 09 now. So we'll just hold short here and we'll do the before takeoff checklist. Lock and brake on. So the anti-ice, we'll put, it's not too cold, it's about 10 degrees today. So we'll put on the pitot and static and the surface de-ice, and we'll leave it there. Flight controls are free, so we need to set the flaps for takeoff, which is 20 degrees. We've already set the trim, so the trim is well in the takeoff range. And we need to check the takeoff data. So we're less than £15,100, and we're less than £13,500, and it is between -4 and 22 degrees C, and we're less than 5,000 feet. So we can use a VR of 93 knots. And takeoff fan will be 97% RPM, and we can climb on up. So the last things we need to do once we're lined up, so we'll just get takeoff clearance. Okay, so we're just lining up so we can do various little bits and pieces. We've got clearance. Okay, so we got the ignitions on, the pitot static is on, exterior lights, we can turn on the anti-collision, nav and landing lights. The transponder and radar are set. The enunciator panel is clear. Throttles we need to set to 97%, and then we can get going, making sure that all the engine instruments are clear. So usually the co-pilot sets the fan, but I'll just do it quickly now. Or usually they're doing it whilst the plane is rolling. But I'll just make sure it's set, and there we go. Let's get going. So, like I said, VR is 93 knots. And there we go. Let's get rotate. And follow the flight director up. So, gear up. So let's climb up to about 1,000 feet, and then I'll pop on the autopilot. Making a kind of gentle left turn, just to anticipate the left turn. Actually, I'll bring it up. So you just click the nav button on the FMSC, and there we go. That should be set now for our climb up. So I've set the vertical speed to about 1800. But we can adjust that as we go along. So let's do the after takeoff checklist. So the gear is up. We'll bring the flaps up now. Ignitions are on. We can put onto normal, which I think they were anyway. I'm not. Actually, no, they're not. Sorry, no, they're on normal. Climb power set. Now, according to the manuals, this is according to the RAM air temperature. Now, I can't find a RAM air temperature. Oh, unless it's this one. No, it's battery temperature. Gauge on the dashboard, but the only thing obviously is the outside air temperature. So I'm assuming, I can only assume that you have to use that. So we're up to 120. Let's make sure yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so we use 0 degrees for 5,000 feet. We want 100 on the N1% RPM, so we can actually bring that forward a little bit. Well, it doesn't go up to 100, but we'll use max power. Well, actually, we want to be maintaining a maximum of 225, so actually that is a little bit fast. So we'll just bring that speed back a bit. Although we could actually perhaps climb up a little bit higher. There we go, we'll climb a little bit faster rather than slowing down. Just keep that up a little bit higher. So we're really flying up now. Engine synchronizer we're not going to put on. Well, let's not. Why not? I'll put it onto fan. I've never used it before, so we'll give it a go. Pressurization is going to be fine. Passenger advisory lights we can turn off when we're above 10,000. And we can turn the exterior lights off as well when we're at 10,000. But otherwise, we just need to wait as we go up. So there we go, we've been cleared up to 170. So coming up to 10,000 now. So lights off, and the passenger advisory lights off as well. The passenger safety, rather, not advisory.